Hello, this is Musketeer from the future here saying sorry about this being cut into 3 pieces. There's a bug in the editing software. Just letting you know I'm picking up exactly where I started off in the last video. Peace. So I went into the store and with the red purchase certificates ended up getting Ethan, and I was looking through the heroes and he seemed to be really cool. I don't know how often I'd use him. I haven't leveled him up yet. But I think I don't have a lot of specialist units, and they always have some cool caveat to their kit, so I really want to try him out at some point. I'm sure he'll have his uses somewhere, be it niche or not. It'll be really cool to try him out at some point. We are now at level 26, just finished SK3 with a 3-star rating, and it's really important because building onto the base is the biggest thing I need currently. Trying to get extra resources by upgrading the factories and all that is very paramount to my further success. So instead of having to farm on certain missions to get XP, I can essentially do it passively instead of doing missions like that one currently for extra XP. Now, one thing I did need to work on, and is because I didn't have Vanguard chips and it was closed on that specific day, so I had to wait to take Courier up, but he has been really essential to a lot of my missions. I probably use him in every single one. Him and Myrtle have basically been a mainstay for me right now. Sometimes I have to swap out Myrtle because there's situations where I can't actually take advantage of her DP printing, but between him and Fang, they do a really good job of keeping everything going and keeping me supplied. So as I was talking earlier about the mechanics of 4.8, I went through and looked at my specialists. I only have 4. I have no fast deploy operators. So I don't have any Vanguards either that have fast deploy. The quickest I have is normal. So what I went to do was hope that somebody has a support unit somewhere that has fast deploy. So I checked the specialist units and I'm not seeing anything, and I start to freak out. And then I noticed Gravel, and Gravel has fast deploy, and it's a trait called Executor, or potentially Executor. I don't know exactly how they want us to say it, but essentially, with her, I'm able to kite the abilities of those casters, which means potentially I could finally get past the stage. I tried it so many times with Vanguards, extra guards in my lineup. The problem is, I just didn't have fast enough deployment, so even if I had take out 2 or 3 of them, once they started coming in packs, and I didn't have anything available, it just always went downhill. So, with her on the team, I tried it out. I still managed to lose, but the fact of the matter is, I have the strategy. I know what I need to do. I just have to execute, not poorly this time. See, the thing is, if you panic when you have 0 deployment left, like I did, your defense falls apart a bit, so try to keep a level head as you go through, but eventually I did get it down and I beat it, and not just beat it, I 3-starred it. So as I say my goodbyes to the stage, I want to just leave a big middle finger to it and hope that I never see it again. No, guys, we made it to 4.9, and that's actually where I stopped in the campaign because 4.9 was a bit difficult and I didn't have a whole lot of time going to. I had to kind of prioritize trying to work up Myrtle to E2 because I really wanted to E2 an operator before the end of this part of the series, because I want to try out all these like top tier units from people on my friends list, but also because it's a huge milestone, and to be able to get it in the second week would have been really cool, and potentially I could have if I devoted my time in different ways, but either way, eventually I'll get to it, and probably by this next video I should have Myrtle on E2. I did manage to beat the stage for the upgraded chips to that you need to use to go to E2. The problem was I can't auto-deploy as of yet, because the two that got by were the operators that can't be blocked, and so you have to damage them down before they get through, and they're heavily armored, so I have to work my way around that and kind of figure out the best way of going about that. But we're into the event, guys. We're getting closer to the end of the video. This event has been absolutely amazing so far. It's the first one I've actually got to do a full version of, because I joined in the middle of Lingering Echoes. So this one's really cool. You get a free tin pool. You get daily Arundum from these tickets. You get a bunch of stuff in the mail, one of them being a free 5-star ticket, which is awesome for me because I can choose whichever one I want. You get another free 5-star. And I don't know how good Savage is, but looking at her kit, she has the Nuker tag, which is really cool. I don't think I've seen the Nuker tag before, so I might at some point try her out. I'm not sure. Could be one of those units that seems like it'd be good, what is kind of a niche operator, but we'll see. And also, 5 OP for the maintenance is really good. So, there's a lot of things that I'm working on going forward to this point, but I am so excited for this event, and hopefully I can pull Gavial the Invincible. If I pull either of the 6 stars out of this, I'm going to be happy, because Bazumka, I'm not sure how to say that, is also a really good unit based on her kit. I mean, 6 stars in themselves are going to be good generally, but both of these heroes seem really good and would make an insane addition to my team. So here's to hoping I pull one. Hopefully you guys' pulls are going well. Let me know what you think on the event so far, because this being my first full event, I'm not sure what to expect overall from other events. Is this one better than you expected? Is it worse than you expected so far? Overall though, the artwork, the animation, especially the opening animation screen was really cool. But you see me get Cantabile here, which I think she's brand new. I don't know for sure. But I'm loving what her kit looks like, and potentially could add her into my lineup at some point here. I go for another pull using the OP that I've saved up, and I got 2 more 5 stars. No 6-star yet. You know, I'm hopeful, but I don't expect it to be that early. But I go through and use my tokens, then I've got extra ones to prestige them a little more. End up maxing Steward, which is nice. I will try to upgrade him all the way to do his extra missions, but as you see, she has reduced deployment time, also generates 1 DP after each attack. That is really cool, a really cool ability. I don't know how good that's going to be going into the meta, but she also has ammo on her second skill, which is the first hero I've had that actually has that. So interesting going forward. I'm excited to try her out, and like I said, Savage has a cool kit. Her second ability dealing 300% of attack physical damage at most 3 enemies within 3 tiles ahead, which seems like a lot of damage, a lot of burst potential. But as I've said before, I'll try her out at some point and see if somebody uses her in the comments. Let me know, especially with Cantabile as well. Give me your thoughts on these heroes, because like I said, I don't know how they fit into the meta. This is a blind run. I have no idea how any of this will work. Going into the actual event missions, this one's strange. I'm gonna have to find ways around some of these, because the car system that I'll talk about later is really, really awesome, but they resist physical damage for a certain amount of time. So I think there's going to be times where there may be a short opening in between them coming through their gate to my defenders, which may make them really hard to deal with. They'll stack up because I'm not able to deal damage. I'm sure you counter that with like arch damage or something, because they should be able to attack right away. But there's certain caveats. Maybe there's ways I can get rid of the ability through other heroes. I'm going to have to test out. We'll see what happens, but I've done pretty well in this event so far. I think I'm on 1-8, potentially, or the 8th part of the event. I can't remember exactly, but I've done very well so far, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot. The story's really cool. Very long, as I've seen that most of the stories are, and I have no quarrels with that. I love that. I love that they put time and effort into the whole thing. So after the start of the mission, it didn't take very long for me to get the free 5-star, and while Minimalist seems alright, I've got a lot of options already for casters. I've been using Click a lot. I don't know if anybody else in here uses Click a lot, but Click has been insane for me. It does so much damage, especially with the activation of her E1 ability. So one of my favorite things is the car, and I like to think of the car as more of like a 7-star operator because it is kind of insane, especially with the right mods. This thing can basically carry you through maps. Now there's certain ways, like they can stop the cart with the heavier units like this metal robot that every time the car hits it, it stops. But essentially, all you'll have to do is just get a constant DP, like with Myrtle, I use for instance to constantly upkeep my DP, and then I just spam cars over and over again to the point that everything basically gets wiped with essentially minimal effort. Now, don't take what I'm doing here as how I actually use these. I was just goofing around in this exhibition thing, trying some things out, and I think you just go for the highest score. I ended up getting a B. This was my first time doing it. I did better the second time, but essentially, I don't know how if it gives you any mission completes for doing higher scores on that or not, but regardless, you go into the power lab and you select gears that you put on your car, and these add buffs. Some really cool ones like defense down, resistance down, knockback enemies, slowing enemies, stunning enemies I think is one of them, extra healing as it passes by one of your units. So it's like there's a whole bunch that these things can actually do, but from the event screen I bought the Headhunting units, the 3 that you get from the event, and the first one I pulled a 5-star. I got Cantabile again, which is nice. If I use her later on, the prestige will be very nice going forward. The other 2 units were just Cicero and Pinecone, so not particularly units I'm probably going to use. We'll see as time goes on. I would like to eventually level up every unit and try them out so I can form some weird teams. I like the idea of off-meta teams, but I'm using the 5-star recruitment card, and after heavy thought, I decided to go with Lapland. And the reason being, I wanted a range guard, and reading Lapland's kit, she seemed like she'd be pretty decent. At the same time, earlier in the pulls, I ended up pulling Midnight, who's also a range guard, but since I have the option of choosing, Lapland seems like a good one. I've used her before from somebody's support hero, and she seems pretty good, so I wanted to give her a try myself. Now, I went back after doing some of the event and tried another part of Annihilation to try to get some more rewards, and I ran Lungman for the first time and nearly 400 it. The last wave that you run into is probably going to give me nightmares because the amount of special arts casters that came out kind of blew me away. They formed a whole X. There was like 10 of them, and I was like, yeah, I'm more than likely I'm probably not going to finish that. But guys, we got to level 30, a big milestone, got the packs. We're cruising right along. We've done so much progress in this game, and I finally E1 Mostama, and her E1 ability has been insanely good. I don't even remember if I looked at the E2, but this one itself has been oh so good. It's helped me so much in clearing a lot of the later event content. I, for some reason, didn't record my completion of IC7, but I'm actually on IC8 of the event. But I wanted to show real quick because I did fully max out Papacar, and so I got to try the special trial mission that she has. So you're given a specific set of units, and you have to make do with what you have and try to survive this. So the caveat with this, as I lost it like 3 or 4 times, is that obviously Papacar can't do much damage to heavily armored units, so you use your 2 specialist operators to pull those ones off the map. So Papacar is going to handle all the other ones. You might have to deploy Yato to block some of the other units as they start to swarm in a certain spot, just so you don't get overrun. But it's a really cool thing that gives you 200 Arundum for completing them. I don't know if it goes up depending on operator rarity or not, but regardless, 200 Arundum for just doing that little bit is really cool. But guys, we're at the end of the video. I'm showing you, this is the start of the next week, but I'm just showing you the rewards I got for the next day, because I wasn't sure if the Arundum thing right there was a recurring event, but it is. So essentially you're going to get a lot of free Arundum out of that. So overall, event for me, fantastic. I'm more than happy with this. And I'm happy to see what I get going forward, but just showing class specific overviews. Myrtle at 60, Courier at 35, Cantabile haven't worked up yet. They got a couple of other 30s like Fang, but Papakar Swire, which I still have love for. I know people say she's not that good, but I'll still probably use her from time to time. Lapland, I'm going to E1 as soon as I can. I just don't have the chips yet. I'm very much lacking in the Guardian department, in the Defender department. Maybe I can get some down the road. Hopefully I get a decent pull. Platinum, Blue Poison have been my main. Catapult for the AoE. Mostoma for the AoE casting now. So good. Has actually changed so much, because Skyfire, while she's decent, she's just not worth the E1. The meteor is way too slow. It ends up, I think, just end up less damage overall than just using her primary attack upgrade. I could be wrong, but it just seems like so much of a waste at times. Click has been absolutely carrying for the single target casting. Shining, of course, being still in here. Gavial is still in here. I do need to work up Perfumer, because I do need an AoE medic. Premonix and Orchid both being E1 for my supports, and for the specialists I haven't really put much into them. I leveled Shaw's abilities up a lot so I could push people off the map, but I now have my own Gravel, so I don't have to use that support hero, so I can go back and personally 3-star and get the auto deploy going. But my throat is very much sore. I'm going to end the video here, guys. I thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Peace.